Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button, also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. Like DJ Khaled say, another one. Now I did a video 5 days ago, almost a week ago. Ego rumor mill, another one that was accurate, and you click on the video and I told you guys that the fight with Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko would be on both Showtime and HBO, right? Now it's official. They just did a press release. This is Showtime's website and bam, you see it. They already have a promo. Berto Porter fight week this week and April 29th Joshua Klitschko. So, in case you missed the first video, the way it works is HBO and Showtime don't usually work together. They're their own entities, and it's like McDonald's and Burger King. But they have in the past for Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson, because one fighter was on one network, the other was on the other, and same thing with Mayweather Pacquiao. So big fights at the time, like record-breaking fights. Now this is a 90,000 Wembley Stadium type of fight with Joshua Klitschko, and I guess the money got too good where both networks really wanted it, and Klitschko has a deal and a contract with HBO. Joshua had a contract with Showtime, and no one wanted to budge or give it up to the other networks, so they had to work something out. That's why it took so long, because Showtime didn't want to give up Joshua, who they had under a multi-fight deal, to go fight on HBO. So HBO reaps all the benefits and makes all the money. And then the same thing with HBO. They didn't want to have Klitschko, who they have under a multi-fight deal and contract, and have him go over to Showtime, and then they're just X'd out of the picture. So they had to make it work for both parties because of the type of fight it was, and the network each had a fighter. So the way they worked it out, Showtime will air it in real time, live, and then HBO will get the rebroadcast later in the evening. So if you missed it on Showtime, or if you don't have a Showtime subscription, then you can watch it on HBO. And you would have to watch it later. It wouldn't be in real time. So stay away from social media and stuff like that, because you might see spoilers and the results of it in real time. Now, in addition to this news, this is a new portion that I did not know that I want to update you guys. And I said this before, and I'm going to say it again even more firmly. 2017 first quarter Showtime Boxing is slaughtering, I repeat, slaughtering HBO with the regular network programming. What I mean by that, non-pay-per-view. What you get with the regular HBO or the regular Showtime packaging. By far, Showtime, I mean, I covered a few of the fights. I was at the fight with Adrian Broner versus Adrian Granados. They had Lamont Peterson on the undercard versus David Avanesian in the eliminator. And then you also had an exciting fight at light heavyweight with Marcus Brown and Thomas Top Dog Williams. I was in Cincinnati. That was a fun card. I enjoyed myself. In January, I went to the fight with Mikey Garcia. He has a knockout of the year against Dejan Zlaticanin and became a champion in the new weight class at lightweight. And on the main event was Leo Santa Cruz versus Carl Frampton, the rematch to a good 2016 fight. Also in January, you had Badu Jack versus James DeGale, which was a great fight. And then you had Tank Davis becoming an IBF champion, and he's about to defend in the UK. And that's just off the top of my head with Showtime. They've also had Clarissa Shields. She was the first woman to headline her own event, on a woman headlining a network card in boxing. And it's just Berto Porter's this week. It's crazy. And they were supposed to have Luis King Kong Ortiz on the card, but he got injured. But you still got on the undercard, who's on the undercard? Jermell Charlo, that's what it is. Jermell Charlo versus Charles Hadley. And now they just announced all of this. Crazy, man. Showtime Boxing, here we go. 7 world championship fights in 8 weeks. Wow. Again, it's fight week. Berto Porter It was supposed to have Luis King Kong Ortiz, but he got injured. But it still has Jermell Charlo defending his WBC strap against his mandatory Charles Hatling. Then April 29th, like I said, Joshua Klitschko should be a fun fight. They're covering it live when it's happening over in the UK. Then you have Gervonta Tank Davis, who's fighting on May 20th, defending his title against Liam Walsh. Then you have Gary Russell Jr., this is like a dual telecast. They're both on the 20th, but the UK fight, since the UK is like 6 hours ahead of my time, it'll be probably in the daytime, and then at nighttime, Gary Russell, the rescheduled match with Oscar Escandon, who is his mandatory. I want to see Gary Russell back. He's a champion. He has fast hands, and there's too much action. Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton, Lee Selby. There's a lot of names out there, right? So that's one night of boxing that we're getting. Crazy. And then obviously the 27th, the week after, Kell Brook versus Errol Spence for Kell Brook's IBF strap. And then you have Adonis Stevenson versus Andres Fonfara, the rematch, which is happening immediately after that in June 3rd. And then they're putting Eleider Alvarez, who's I think the mandatory for Adonis. They're putting that on the undercard. And I heard they're trying to put Jean Pascal versus somebody on the undercard as well. Crazy. Showtime is literally slaughtering the competition. This is a lot of fights, a lot of good boxing, and these are championship fights. Actually, the Eleider Alvarez, I believe, he's fighting Jean Pascal. That's the fight that they're talking about for Fonfara versus Stevenson 2. Just crazy amount of fights. I tip my hat off to Showtime. They are certainly getting it done. Shout out to Steven Espinoza, PBC, and all the fighters involved. I mean, these are some good fights, and they're happening some on the same night. Some are happening back-to-back weeks. Crazy. Like I said, Berto Porter's this week, and you have Jermell Charlo versus Charles Hatley on the undercard, right? And it was supposed to have Luis King Kong Ortiz, and the only reason it doesn't have that is because he got injured, right? Crazy. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know. In the words of 50 Cent, you gotta do something, baby. HBO, man. Nigga, everybody listening. You gotta do something, baby. Something special. HBO gotta do something, man. I mean, they have some fights like Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. challenging Canelo, but that's pay-per-view. Ward Kovalev, that's pay-per-view. So there's some good fights on HBO, but they're charging. I'm talking about their regular programming, because at the end of the day, the pay-per-view fights, those are good fights that I'm looking forward to. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to justify why you have a regular package that has HBO. Why are you paying extra for HBO? I personally don't watch TV like that. I don't watch any HBO shows. Usually movies, I got Kodi or Redbox, or I see them in the theater, things, or I buy the Blu-ray. So I don't really watch HBO for movies, new movies and stuff. So the only reason I have HBO is for boxing, and they need to do something, because it's not even becoming worth it to own HBO. I mean, literally, we got Vasyl Lomachenko versus Jason Sosa. That was a nice little Ukraine triple header, right? And then before that, in January, on the same night as Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton 2, and Mikey Garcia, Dejan Zlaticanin, they put a card. And the reason I know, because I was covering that fight live, I covered the Showtime card. And HBO had a dual telecast on the same night with Miguel Berchelt challenging Francisco Vargas. He pulled the upset. And Takashi Miura was on that card. But those are too far and few in between fights. And they're not anything like this. I mean, Miguel Berchelt, Francisco Vargas, that was cool. I watched it after the fact. But, I mean, can we really compare that to Berto Porter? Can we compare that to Joshua Klitschko, right? Kell Brook versus Errol Spence Jr. You know what I mean? Like, these are just bigger fights. Even Adonis Stevenson, I'm just like, Fonfara, he just stopped Chad Dawson in a fight he was kind of down on the scorecards. He gave Stevenson a tough fight. I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's better than fighting guys like Tommy Karpency and Sakio Bika. At least we know Fonfara has a new trainer with Virgil Hunter, and he was game the first time, and we'll see what he learned after losing to Joe Smith Jr. So I mean, far more compelling matches. My dude Tank Davis, I want to see what he looks like against this Liam Walsh. Liam Walsh is taller. Liam Walsh is a puncher. And I know some people in the UK, and they said don't sleep on Liam Walsh. They said he's actually kind of nice with it. I haven't really done my full homework, but I do have a Boxing Ego first look. Bottom line, what I'm trying to say is, HBO, you gotta do something, baby. It's getting ugly. Like, I don't even know if HBO wants to be in the boxing business anymore. Like, they're just trying to go for a sure shot. I mean, look.
Do you believe that you can, on April the 29th, knock out Vladimir Klitschko and move up in levels and cement your place as a real heavyweight champion? Anthony Joshua does it again, defending his IBF heavyweight title.
This is a fight that can change from champion to legend overnight. Right now, I'm IBF heavyweight champion of the world. Now it's about beating the right people. But it's not doing it once. It's doing it over and over again.
18 out of 18, all by knockout.
This is just the start of that legendary campaign.
See, Showtime, they're killing. Because the other thing is, the Joshua Klitschko deal is they're having it happen live. HBO's getting sloppy seconds. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. Showtime's doing their thing. I want to see if HBO even cares, if they even try to respond with their regular network programming. Because like I said, Vasyl Lomachenko versus Jason Sosa, that was a solid card, but most of those matches, the guys were overmatched. You know what I mean? We knew the Ukraine guys were the favorites. That's the ones that the network was pushing. And most people didn't give Sosa a chance to beat Lomachenko. Wadstick looked good in his fight with Yuniskev Gonzalez, but Gonzalez to me didn't look good. He had some fights after the Jean Pascal. I thought he beat Pascal, but after that point, he had a fight or two where he didn't look good to me, right? And then Michael Hunter's on a long layoff, and Usyk looks like a good champion. But you look at this Showtime, Berto Porter, I really think Berto has a shot. I mean, I know a lot of people are picking Sean Porter, but I think they both have a shot. Obviously, Joshua Klitschko, that goes without saying. This man was dominant for almost 10 years, right? Gary Russell's been inactive. I don't know too much about Oscar Escandon. I got to do some research on him as well. Same thing with Tank Davis. He looked like a beast versus Pedraza, but he's fighting another person, different style. He's going to the UK to do it, and he's a new champion. Kell Brook, Errol Spence, 50-50. You know what I mean? Adonis Stevenson from Farah. Let's see what Farah learned from Stevenson loss, beating Chavez Jr. He beat Nathan Cleverly. He got stopped by Joe Smith Jr. He just knocked out Chad Dawson. He just hooked up with Virgil Hunter. So lots changed. And Adonis Stevenson's career hasn't really done much since that point. But from Farah, he's had ups and downs. So by far, Showtime has the more compelling bouts. It looks like they're stepping up their production stuff. Like this trailer was cool. So we'll see if HBO responds to this. But so many fights, and they're good fights too. At least me, I'm looking forward to really everything on that calendar. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off.